city of LA, in the city of good old whites, in the city of Compton, we keep it rocking, we keep it rocking. Let me welcome everybody to the Wild Wild West, a state that's untouchable like Elliot Ness. The track is your eardrum like a slug to your chest. Pack a vest for your Jimmy in the city of sex. We in that sunshine state.
All right. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We are back again with another video. As what you guys were just watching, I got the headers in. Got the flywheel on, got the starter on, took the starter off because I needed to get the starter off to put the headers in, because remember how last week's video I said, hey, I got to probably pull the motor out, put the headers on, and then slide the motor in? Yeah, I was wrong. The headers actually slide up from the bottom. Shocker. I'm kind of an idiot. Not that surprising, but they are in and they do fit pretty good. Pretty good is where I'm keeping it though, because they're not perfect. Over here, I had to hit the frame in a little bit on this side so I get this to clear. It looks like it's touching, but I can assure you it's not. I'm trying to get the camera just right where you can see the light underneath it. It doesn't hit there anymore. There's enough room, probably for a piece of paper, but that's about it. They do hit the floor though a little bit, so I do got to kind of tweak the floor on this side, the passenger side and the driver's side. But what I'm dealing with right now, the problem I'm having at the moment, is that the steering hits. And I've taken the steering apart trying to figure out what I can do to make it work. The problem is that it hits this tube right here. I don't know if you can maybe I can get this to where it works a little bit, but like it hits right there. Now, if this was maybe over an inch, like out here, then it'd be even better, but it hits right there. So I had a few ideas. One idea is I can cut the tube. I can like cut the tube here, cut it down there, add like an inch piece to swing this tube out, and then weld everything back together. But then we don't really have that much room right here in between the frame and the header. So what I think I'm gonna do, I think it's gonna be easier if I do this rather than, you know, build another set of headers, because I bought these ones. I mean, they were $320. So for $320, they're way nicer and way better quality than something I could build for $300. I'd have way more money in materials, to be completely honest with you, in building my own set. It's not that I'm not capable of it. I've done it a bunch. I've probably done 5 sets, but just I know what materials cost, and for $320, these fit really, really good. They're like 90% good. So instead of reinventing the headers, I think I'm going to reinvent the steering. And by reinvent the steering, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build something, either a plate that fits these 4 bolt holes, and these 4. I might build a plate and just shift it over that inch, because that's really all it needs. It doesn't even need an inch. It needs less than an inch, but an inch keeps it safe, and especially, you know, turning and all that stuff, it'll keep from things hitting it over time. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a plate that just shifts the steering column over an inch, and that should solve all my problems. I mean, is the wheel going to be over an inch? Yeah, but it's a bench seat. I don't think I'm going to notice. I've also driven a lot of race cars that have offset steering wheels, so it's nothing that I'm not used to. It's just having this in the factory place, I don't think is going to work. Now, I don't know the differences. Obviously, this is a Fairmont. Those headers are for an LS swapped Fox body. The steering column is for a Fox body. I don't 100% know the differences. Maybe maybe they are offset just a little bit between a Fox body and a Fairmont. I'm not 100% sure. But what I can tell you is that the headers fit well enough where for what I spent on them, they're perfect. I got to do a little hammering of the floor to get them to clear. They don't hit, they're just really close. And because I need to add, build a full exhaust system for this thing, I just need to get them away from the floor so that they're almost touching the floor, but if I give it some room, then I can kind of tip them down and go underneath the car and not hang super low, but not really sitting super close to the floor so the floor gets really hot when you're driving. I'd really like to try to avoid that if possible. But the headers are really nice. I do like them. They're great. Would recommend them. But I think I'm going to have to get my steering column. I think I'm just going to have to offset it, 1/2 inch to 1 inch, which really isn't that big of a deal. It's not that crazy. Pretty simple. It's just going to be a simple little plate with some holes I drill in it. And I'll bolt it to the factory location. But the column itself will be bolted to that plate. That is just offset 1 inch. So that's not that big of a deal. Nothing super crazy. I thought I was done with the fabrication part of this deal, but a few more surprises. That's fine though. Like I said, it's not that big of a deal and the headers fit really good. Good enough to the point where I'm just really gonna make it work. Like I said, they're like 90% good. I'll take it. But other than that, I mean, they look really nice. They have a lot of clearance around the frame, a lot of clearance around the K-member, all that good stuff. So, yes, it's kind of where we're at in this video. Thank you guys for tuning in. At the moment, I think I'm going to go beat the floors in so that way underneath the car is good to go. And all I got to do is offset the steering column, and then that's perfect. But in the meantime, or after I do that, I think I'm going to put this water pump back on. It's not electric, but it's free because I already own it. So I think I'm going to put this water pump back on. And like I said, I told you I have some ICT billet stuff for the alternator. I am going to try to piece enough of this together to where I don't need the power steering, I don't need the AC. I don't know if I'm going to have to come in and cut some of this off to make just the alternator work. Not 100% sure where we're at. I do need the tensioner though. I don't know, it's going to take a little bit of figuring out, but it's a nice bracket. So if I can make the bracket work, then that's an absolute plus. Because, yeah, I mean, I have this tensioner right here. I don't know. Maybe I can make the tensioner work. Maybe I can take all the AC stuff off because I don't need it, but maybe I can take the tensioner off, take the AC stuff off, take the power steering stuff off, and get it to where it's just the alternator bracket. It might be a little ugly, and by might be, it's ugly, but regardless of that, I'm gonna get back to work, get back to plugging away at this thing. Thank you guys for tuning in, of course. The headers look great. They fit good. I just got to make a few modifications. And, yeah, I'm going to try to get this front drive stuff situated and a few other things. And, yeah, it's going to be the video. So thank you guys for tuning in. I got to get back to work. All right, update. Here's what we got going on. Got the water pump on, so that's a plus. Got the water pump on, got the headers cleared, or clearance the headers in the bottom of, the floor. Clearance that with a hammer. But we're good now. They don't touch the floor anymore, so that's a plus. Along with that, what do we got? I told you guys kind of my idea on what I want to do with the steering column. Just kind of shift it over 1 inch, and that kind of takes care of the header problem over there. So the headers are good as far as I'm concerned, good to go. With the water pump being on, I was going to start trying to figure out if there was a way that I can make these brackets work without the power steering and the AC. And honestly, maybe it's the lack of sleep, but I don't know if I can. Pretty much this video is pretty low energy for the main reason of that. The night before I worked till about 4 in the morning, so I did 8 a.m. to 4 a.m. the next day. Slept for a couple hours and then came out here and started tinkering away with the headers. And then, yeah, now we're here. So not really working on a whole bunch of sleep, just trying to do some tinkering in the shop and get some more progress done with the car. So I am pretty happy that the headers fit and actually look good and didn't really cause me that much grief. Definitely way easier than me building a set. So I'm pretty happy with it all. With that being said, there really isn't much left with this. Water pump's on. Trying to figure out what to do with this. Probably just gonna buy another bracket, maybe ICT, maybe not, who knows. Maybe there's a better one for a better deal. I'm not sure, haven't really looked. So that's kind of where we're at. I'd like to get the front of this thing dressed up, get a belt on there, so that way, just another thing checked off the list. I do got to get a radiator, do got to make radiator hoses. One thing I got to do is I do have to, so this is a factory water pump, so I do got to figure out the heater core hoses. I know I can just loop them, but want to make them look pretty decent if I do just loop them. Where are we at? I think tomorrow evening, the wife and I are gonna have another date night out here, and we're gonna get some stuff organized because this place is a disaster. Get it organized and kind of figure out my next steps on what we got going on. This is probably just a short little video with mainly just me talking, and it is what it is. Just, you know, anytime I'm out here, I'd like to just record a little bit and just post it up. So that's where we're at. We made a little bit more progress. The headers are in. Water pump is on. I got to figure out a bracketry for the alternator. I don't need anything crazy. I just need the alternator and the tensioner, and that way super simple up front, you know, for the water pump, alternator, and a tensioner, and then obviously, so it goes around, and it's a belt. It's a serpentine belt. You guys probably know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm just happy that the headers fit. I was worried about them for a little bit, but I got them, and they do fit pretty nicely. But this place is kind of a disaster, and I really got to get to cleaning it up. So I don't know. Not the best video, but it was a video. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like, share, comment, subscribe as always. And next video, I think we will either be wiring or we will be tackling the steering column issue. So look forward to that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on the next one.